the purpose of these meetings is added value. We just want to give back. We want people to come in, hear something great, and take it with them. And there's not a better person for us to do that than Dwight Lamb. He's got a heck of a career with training and speaking, keynote speaker, has spoken all over the place. And we're just grateful that we've got him here in our little corner in Mesa, Arizona. And so without any further ado, well, real quick, take out your phones, put them on silent. Let's not interrupt Dwight's presentation. But after that, Dwight Lamb.
Okay, thank you. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I'm a big person that's really about props and making sure everything's set up just right. I just didn't think they were going to make it feel like the North Pole in here tonight. But that's okay, because in Mason, the buildings down here, we don't have heat. Just air conditioning. That's what they told me. So cuddle up to the next, person next to you, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, thanks for being here. Like you said, this is my second opportunity to be here at Listen University on Speakers Night, and it is a great opportunity. It really is. And we do this every Thursday night. There's never any cost or any obligation to do anything, so invite your friends. There are going to be a couple that have some businesses right in the area that I talked to that should be coming in. They said they closed at 7-ish and should be coming in, so we're looking forward to that. But anyway, so let me just start with a couple trivia pieces here. There's so many movies about Christmas, isn't there? Why do you think that there's so, and this is just a small portion, there's hundreds and hundreds of movies about Christmas. Why do you think there's so many movies about Christmas? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Why? Not all at once. We've only got an hour together. So, well, I think, what's that? It's a happy time. It's a happy time, and there's so many movies. I got to tell you, when you add the Hallmark movies around Christmas, my mom, bless her heart, 85 years old, up in Prescott and lives up there, and we have to watch a Hallmark movie every time we go visit. But there's so many of them out there. And because of a happy time, here are some of my favorite, and I want to encourage all of you to watch at least these 5 movies this holiday time, okay? First one is A Christmas Story, an old classic. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Then there's The Miracle on 34th Street. What a wonderful movie with a lot of great principles in there. One of my favorite principles that is taught in there, since I do a lot of delivering WOW on purpose customer service seminars, is when Santa Claus at Macy's, because they don't have the gift that the mom had been looking for forever, tells her to go to another store to buy it. And of course, the manager, who's all about money, just freaks out. All of a sudden, the response from that and her sharing it with you care about the kids, not just making money. Great messages in that one. Then I love Elf, one of the newest ones. It really has become one of my favorites, okay? And then, of course, It's a Wonderful Life. You can't get much better than It's a Wonderful Life unless you are very familiar with another one. You know who he is? Jimmy Stewart. Well, he did in an older age, he did another movie that happens to be one of my very favorites, if not the very favorite, and that is Mr. Kruger's Christmas. So I would highly recommend you going, checking those out and seeing those. But let's continue here. Where do you suppose Santa goes to learn about being an excellent Santa? The ho-ho-hos. You think he went to the North Pole? Or all those that play Santa and his helpers go to the North Pole to learn about how to be great Santas? I learned this when I started doing this particular program. There is actually Charles W. Howard Santa Claus School. It started back in the early 70s and has been going on ever since. In fact, it moved in the mid-'80s to Michigan. And let me just share with you, because I found an article on it as well, real quick here. Did anybody know that? Anybody here knew that already? Yeah, see, it's a bit of trivia I wanted to share with you. They attract every year Santas and Mrs. Clauses from around the globe to prepare for the holiday season. The director, they have a school director, Tom Vallant, is the third dean of the nonprofit school. Started by its namesake, Charles Howard, the original Macy's Day Parade Santa, who likewise worked on the original Miracle of 34th Street. Isn't that fascinating? They pay $400 for a 40-hour course spread over a 3-day period. It's serious stuff. And as you can see here, some of these guys have been preparing to be Santa for a long time. And I'm not talking about the weight, I'm talking about the beard. They also have to make sure it's white. There's no gray, no yellow, no whatever. They dye their beard and use bleach to make sure it's a white beard. They have to learn the songs. They have to learn everything about the old Kris Kringle, St. Nick. And so anyway, I thought that would be kind of neat. So I got all excited, and I decided that I got to do this right. So I visited the North Pole to sit down with Santa Claus himself. Like I said, I didn't know they were going to try to replicate the North Pole here tonight because my hands are freezing, but I'm going to still push this button, okay? Went there to learn about a lot of insights on happiness and joy and fulfillment, and I'm going to share them with you tonight. As a matter of fact, they've got up there, didn't know if you knew this, North Pole University. Some awesome opportunities on how the reindeers and the elves work so hard all year to be the type of individuals to put a great team together and to deliver what we have delivered to us flawlessly every year. As a matter of fact, here are just a quick overview of the life lessons that I learned from Santa Claus. And I took some editorial privileges to add some things to each one of these to make it more personal to each and every one of us as we go. Number one was build a wonderful workshop. We're going to talk about what that means today. Listen to the elves. Share the milk and cookies. Choose your reindeers wisely. Be good for goodness sake, and get beyond the little red wagons. What do you suppose get beyond the little red wagons means? That's okay, we're going to tell you in a moment, okay? But I had a chance to sit down with the old guy himself, had a wonderful experience, asked a lot of questions, and he was, I couldn't get a separate stool. He wanted me to sit on his lap. That's a tradition. So I had that opportunity to sit with the big guy himself, Santa Claus, and have a wonderful conversation. He shared some wonderful insights and thoughts and ideas that can really make a difference in our lives when we apply them. So let's start first with build a wonderful workshop. Today, I'm going to focus on the workshop we call home. He talked about a lot of principles on building a successful workshop, dealing with all the people within that workshop effectively. And of course, home is where our workshop is. Workshop home values, he shared with me the critical ones that he said, make sure to share these critical principles about your workshop home values. And the first one was respect. Said, without respect, it's really difficult to have any type of success if you don't have respect one for another. He also said kindness. You must be kind. Be kind to every person. There's always somebody out there that can use that kindness in their lives. Then he said sharing. Oh yeah, you hear about parents talking all the time to their kids. You've got to share, you've got to share. Well, sometimes he said we adults seem to forget that principle as we get older and don't share as much as we could, at least not willingly. And then there's forgiveness. He says not only forgive others, we all do crazy things and people make mistakes. And so forgiveness is a principle where healing can take place and where love is really strengthened. And not only forgiving others, but first and foremost to forgive yourself. And then he said support. Empower each other, support each other. No matter what ideas or crazy thoughts that your kids have, support them. Let them learn as they grow and experience things that may work or may not, but support them no matter what, and support each other as you build your successful workshop. And then, of course, the great motivator is love. Love of self and love of others. I learned a long time ago, and Santa re-emphasized this, is that you can only love others to the degree you love yourself. It's very difficult to love others any more than you love yourself. Now, I thought that was a bunch of baloney once I started having kids. I thought, how in the world, can I love myself as much as I love my kids? My youngest of 6 is right here, Colby, and his young, sweet, beautiful wife, and I'm glad that they're here. The other ones have heard me more than he has, so he's the only one that showed up. But I'm really glad that they're there. I got 14 grandkids now, and they all live in the area, so it's kind of exciting. But there you have it. Santa Claus emphasizes, as you build your workshop, the one we call home, focus on respect and sharing and support, kindness, love, and forgiveness. Okay? Then, Santa gave me, and I took a bunch of notes and wrote so much stuff down. He gave me a list of quick tips for a successful home workshop. Are you ready? Here they are. First one is Santa always delivers. How many have ever had a Christmas where Santa never delivered on his promises to come to your home? Now, there was times where he was very stingy in some of the Christmases that we had, but nevertheless, he always delivered. Well, the message here is we need to always deliver in our workshop called home to each other. Always give. Think of others first. Then he said, children can always write to Santa. They can always write to Santa. The message there is your children should always be able to talk to you. And that's sometimes difficult, right? Because I just as soon let them know this is what you need to do. This is what's going to bring happiness. So do as I say, right? My son's, yeah, okay. Well, we all have to learn. So just keep that in mind. Children can always write to Santa. Make sure your home door is always open. Smile a lot. Mom used to always say growing up, you're never fully dressed until you put on a smile. And isn't that the truth? I learned clinically later on in life that it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So when I look at people sometimes, I say, why are you working so hard? Anyway, that's a joke, but we'll identify them as I go. Okay, speak the child's language. Now, what do you suppose that means? Speak the child's language. We need to speak on their level. We need to not speak down to them. We need to understand where they're coming from. We need to understand, especially today, oh my gosh, the language and the words and the technology and the things that they use to describe certain things is completely different. I call my grandkids to help me with things now, technically. Okay? Anyway, focus on the children. Always focus on the children. I can promise you, they're not going to be with you forever. Now, my daughter, 5 boys, 1 girl, all my sons married up. My daughter married equal. He's a really good guy. They had an opportunity to move to another state with his job, and quite honestly asked us all to have a prayer that things would go well. And I'm just so glad that my prayers were answered because he didn't get it. Anyway, I'm sorry. It's all recorded now. So anyway, as his list continues, was play with the toys. Man, make sure you are down. I'll tell you what, I got so into early on with Mario Brothers and the computer games and stuff, but they have gotten so advanced at this time, I can't do it anymore. But play with the toys. Understand what they like and they don't like. Exceeds children's expectations. Always give a little more, okay? As you build your workshop called home. Remember what you will always do. This is the key. Santa said, once you decide the things that matter most within your workshop called home, remember what you will always do. And then he added quickly, remember what you will never do. As we make mistakes and stumble forward and learn what didn't work very well, he said, always remember what you will never do. And you know what? I learned a long time ago, and we're a loud family, and I have used that excuse of, I'm not yelling, I just have a loud voice. Well, I learned that their perception is all that mattered. Truth really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter I wasn't angry and they thought I was yelling. That's all that matters. And somebody very wise, much more wiser than I, said, never ever yell in your home unless the house is on fire. Period. Santa Claus reemphasized that and said one of the great self-esteem killers of children is yelling and screaming at them. Remember your first priority. And he emphasized quoted somebody that I happen to know who he quoted, but Santa said, remember your first priority, and that is no other success can compensate for failure in the home. Okay, the love of a child. I found this, and I'm going to just simply read it because it just hit me to the very core of my heart. An actual experience of one of the Santa Clauses out there. Frequently, the love of a child can stir a man's heart to action and bring a change in his life. A few winters ago, in a large department store, a little boy walked hand in hand with his mother and father to the toy department to see Santa Claus. As the little one climbed upon his knee, old Santa asked cheerfully, "So what do you want for Christmas?" Santa had no ready answer when the lad replied, "Just for my daddy to love my mommy like he used to." Could a father hear such a plea and not be moved? Could a mother? The love of a child. As we build our workshop called home, let's keep those most important things as a priority in our lives. Santa said, and I'm going to share a number of quotes as he has allowed me to do so. Santa said, and I quote, "It seems to me that what makes a workshop wonderful, it's not walls and ceilings, but what happens inside those walls and under those ceilings. It's not how a workshop stands, but what it stands for. That makes it special." So you determine what your workshop we call home stands for. I love that when somebody said, if you don't stand for something, you will eventually fall for anything. Number 2, listen to the elves. And I added that, communicate with love. We have been all blessed with 2 ears and only 1 mouth. And so we should listen at least twice as much as we speak, right? Haven't gotten that down yet, I gotta be honest. But nevertheless, communicate with love. Listen and really listen. Listen with compassion. Listen with a desire to understand. Listen with empathy. Empathy is different than sympathy. Sympathy says, yeah, if I was having those problems, I'd be drinking that bottle too. Empathy says, I understand what you're going through. Let's talk about how maybe we can make it better. Walk a while in their shoes. Don't you love that? Santa worked very hard to walk a while in the elves' shoes that he worked with, to understand their challenges, their fears, their desires. And he said to me, teach the people to walk in other people's shoes so you understand them with empathy and can really appreciate what they perhaps are going through. Make others feel good about themselves was another challenge that under listening that Santa Claus gave me. Make others feel good about themselves. This is a show of hands. How many here really love yourself? Okay, I got 1. I got 2 that are barely going up as you're looking at your neighbors raising their hand. How many here like yourself? Good, I got some more hands. How many of you put up with yourself on a consistent, regular basis? Everybody, okay? The key is to focus on feeling good about who you are. You're a unique individual. There's no 2 people in the world just like you. I've made that statement. Those who are close to me have said, I'm so glad. The reason we do these things, Santa said, is so they believe in you. So those that are close to you, your family, your friends, your closest associate, when they realize you really care, you're listening with empathy, trying to understand, walk a while in their shoes, they believe in you. They believe they can trust you. They believe that they can share with you sometimes their deepest fears and concerns, and they won't be judged or looked down on. Santa said, and I quote, "I pay attention to what my elves and others feel. Perceptions are realities for those that hold them, and I must deal with those realities in order to encourage and value others effectively." Number 3, share the milk and cookies. Share the milk and cookies to me. Look at that picture I found. Whoop, got it. Okay, anyway, share the milk and cookies, I believe, is all about give of yourself and share your time. Kids spell love Time. So as you look to give of yourself, share your time, remember, that's the most important thing. We can always buy things. We can always buy toys and gifts. But when you invest in experiences, it's a whole lot better. And you share your time. Nothing brings more joy to a person than knowing they're making a difference. And as you can see here in this picture here, all of the elves, Santa said, they work so hard all year round on making the toys and everything. They don't really get to see, as he does, the end results and the difference they're making in little kids' lives and people's lives. So it's important that we learn this principle and help bring joy to others by showing them the difference they make in other people's lives, just being who they are. A great example of that, of course, is the entire story of Miracle on 34th Street, where he thought he was worthless, didn't have much to give, and then had the wonderful, miraculous opportunity to show what life would have been like if he was never to have been born. Catch them doing things right, then compliment and praise in front of others. This is a big one that Santa Claus really drove home to me. He says, you know, everybody likes to have a compliment, a sincere, honest compliment. But he also said, when somebody pays you a compliment, the best thing you can do is simply say, thank you. Too many people respond right away with a compliment. Oh, well, thank you, but your dress looks really nice. He says it's phony. And he said also, saying thank you is a self-esteem builder. Too many people, when you paid a compliment and said, oh, I really like the color of your hair. Did you like it last week? Compliment and praise in front of others. Then he gave me a tip. When you compliment others, especially children, compliment their behavior more than anything else. You compliment, oh, you are so beautiful. And the siblings think, we must be ugly. But your behavior, the way you treated that, the way you shared, the way you expressed love, the way you went out of your way to help another, boy, that was fantastic. And people will repeat that behavior, especially children, when they see the compliments and praise from mom and dad. Focus on others. Santa was big on this, and sometimes, I've heard, and Santa again validated this, that a person completely wrapped up in themselves makes a very small package. To always focus on others is what Santa is all about. Number 4, choose your reindeers wisely. Now, what Santa was talking here originally is that, there's people that, there's reindeers and there's elves that he interviews, he goes through, and he gets some good ones that can fit, and it's a will fit, will do, can do type of attitude. He wants the best here to do what they do all year long. And so I interpreted choosing your reindeers wisely for each one of us is simply be careful who you associate with. Be careful who you associate with. Psychologists have told us that we unconsciously imitate those we associate with on a consistent, regular basis. You all know somebody, whether young, old, or whatever, that had a certain type of personality, started hanging around this type of group that seemed to be the complete opposite, and pretty soon that person started to dress, act, talk, good or bad, like that group. So be careful who you associate with. Find out who's naughty and nice. We've heard this so long. Find out who's naughty or nice. And then Santa said to me, avoid the naughty. I don't know if you caught that. Let me go back. Find out who's naughty or nice. Click what? And avoid the naughty, okay? Those people out of your life that seem to negative and drain your spirit. Now, some of them, those people you might be married to. Or not here, of course, this group, but others out there. And they wonder, well, what do I do with that? Just love them. Okay? All righty. Santa reminded me that we are our 5 best friends. Please don't unfriend me on Facebook. I'm trying my best. He said that our friends, there are, it should be, okay, I got to tell Santa, he sent me a defaulted PowerPoint. There are friends that can strengthen and improve you or bring you down because we unconsciously imitate those we associate with. So choose your friends wisely. Number 5, be of good cheer. Be good for goodness sakes. And be of good cheer, but be good for goodness sakes. Today, this principle probably is needed more than ever before, and that is simply character and integrity count. It really does. In all areas of our life, character and integrity count. So when Santa, and from here on out, when you hear the phrase during the holiday times, be good for goodness sake, know that Santa was talking about character and integrity. As we continue on, he said part of a great thing to do to show your character and that you have integrity is don't expect anybody to do something you wouldn't do yourself, or perhaps have not done yourself already. We call it moral authority. Don't expect somebody to do certain things and try to teach them certain things you've never done yourself. That's why I love Rob Finder's presentation when he talked about health and fitness and eating properly. He had done it himself. I was 223 pounds a week and a half ago. I'm 214 pounds today following some of those tips. Go ahead, clap, I've got time. Anyway, but set the example. Santa Claus shared a quote that says, example sheds a genial ray that people are apt to borrow. So first improve yourself today, and then your friends tomorrow. As we continue on, Santa had this to say, behave what you believe. Oh, couldn't we learn from that? We have people that claim to be good people, good Christian people, good loving people, good kind people. And sometimes in their life, they act and behave just the opposite. Santa said, behave what you believe. Loved that. As we continue, he said, seek and create harmony. Seek and create harmony. When you are in harmony with yourself, 4 things are aligned. And here they are. What you do, what you think, what you say, and what you feel. When you are living in harmony with yourself, you're at peace because you don't have any of these things that are inconsistent. You don't think one thing and then do another. You don't think one thing and then say another. You don't have all these kind things to say and then kind things to do, but in your heart you're thinking, can't stand this guy. Okay? So in order to have peace and harmony in your life, Santa said these are the 4 things you need to focus on. The next, he said, being in harmony with others is all about being honest, walking your talk, being open and transparent, trusting And finally, again, kind. That just seems to keep coming up, that kindness thing. So in order to be in harmony with others, we need to strive, said Santa, to be honest in the little things. I mean, who in the world would ever, rob a bank? There are some, but none of us would. But what about when you get a little extra change at one of the drive-thrus? Do you turn around and return it? Walk the talk. Be a product of your product. Always, always set an example of who you are by what you say and do. Being open and honest, trusting and kind. Okay, Santa said this: there is no getting around it. I must model the behaviors that I expect from others. I must be the first to walk the talk. Your elves and reindeers are depending on you. Just as you depend on them, don't let them down. It's always amazing to me how some of us have tried to teach our children not to cuss and use filthy words as we are using the filthy words to teach them. Or I love the mom or the dad. And if I offend anybody by this, I'm really not politically correct, because I never let political correctness get in the way of truth. So I love the parents who go, I catch you smoking again, I'm going to rip on your rear end. Don't you ever smoke again. Oh, okay, Dad. Anyway, all right, let's continue. Do right by those who do right. What a principle. He said, I'm constantly looking for opportunities to reward my elves and my reindeers. And you can see here Donner. He won the Puller of the Month one Christmas. Anyway, so do right by those who do right. Santa said, I've learned that recognizing others, doing right by those who do right, is one of the best things I can do for my elves and my reindeers. And isn't that true with those we associate with in business and especially at home in life? Catch your kids doing things right. It's easy to catch people doing things wrong, but what good is that? How many have ever made a mistake? Show of hands. How many have ever made a mistake? Okay, how many after you made a mistake didn't even know you made a mistake? Some of you? Liars. No, okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, there are perhaps, but most of us, when we mess up or make a mistake, we know that a mistake was made, right? We know that, and especially if we chose to do something that was not quite right. We know that. Santa made a point to reward those for the choices that they make. He also said, like everyone else, great performers don't like to be ignored or taken for granted. Even though some may not admit it publicly, in private, most realize that they need to be supported, valued, recognized, and rewarded. And he believes in this principle, and we've all heard it. Whatever gets rewarded gets repeated. Okay? So reward those good behaviors of those around you. When people do nice things and kind things. Sometimes you don't have to, because they're not really doing those things to get a reward, but make sure that you compliment and reward those close to you. Give compliments and praise in front of others. We said that before, and it's worth repeating one more time. Make sure to praise others, and do so if you can in front of others. It even makes them feel better about the choices they have made. Now, we've talked about kindness. Santa kept bringing up that a lot. And I put this up before you see the picture because Santa has interviews. And when some of his reindeers or elves get out of line and they're not kind or they gossip, there's some consequences. So here this reindeer in this interview said, Santa, please tell me again what happens if I don't treat others with kindness. Okay, you can see there's mean one, there was a gossip one, and a prejudice one. And he's getting the message from Santa right there. Anyway, amazing what you find on Google. There comes a time, ladies and gentlemen, where you just have to draw the line. There comes a time, no matter how much you give and how much you care and how much you try to empower and lift others. In business, I'm a big believer of inspiring before you de-hire as much as you can, but sometimes you just have to free up that person's financial future. It's just not a good fit for whatever reason. Well, Santa Claus believes the same thing, and as much as he loves the reindeers, as much as he loves his elves, there comes a time when you have to draw the line. There's things that you may do in the workplace or in the home that just have to be stopped. Well, he pointed out to me that sometime there was an inappropriate behavior going on with one of his reindeers, and he decided he needed to take action. And so, in fact, there was accountability and he had to go. There is times where we need to draw the line and make sure people understand that you have choices in life. You can choose your behavior, but you can't choose your consequences. Okay. And he said a big one, think to thank. He said, encourage everybody you talk to after our interview going forward to remember to think to thank. The United States Post Office Dead Letter Department receives thousands and thousands and thousands of letters from children all over the world asking for things from Santa Claus. Santa said 1 year there was only one, true story by the way, this isn't just a makeup, there was one letter in the dead letter department of the post office that thanked Santa for the toys and the gifts they received. Now, maybe that's a sign, an indication of what the problem is today. Do I blame the kids? I'm sure the parents help them write the letters to Santa, especially when they're wee little, right? How many of us help our kids write a thank you letter to Santa after Christmas and to family members and each other? So think to thank. If you can't be grateful for what you have today, what makes you think you'll be grateful for what you have tomorrow? Gratitude is an incredible principle. When in fact we practice being thankful, being grateful, studies have shown that you're at more peace, you're more fulfilled, you're able to produce more, to give more, you have less stress. It's incredible. And Santa Claus was right on with that question there. Now, number 6, get beyond the red wagons. I asked earlier a question, maybe you've had time to ponder it. What do you suppose from a Santa's workshop and working all year and preparing for Christmas, what do you suppose get beyond the red wagons means? What's the message there? How many had received a little red wagon when they were young? Okay, yeah, most of us old people did. Okay, and what do you suppose it means then to get beyond the little red wagons? Do you see a whole lot of red wagons being sold today? They wanted to find out what was important to the kids, and so that they have the video games and the things that are current. Well, I interpret getting beyond the red wagons as let go of the past and live for today. Let go of the past and live for today. Sometimes, Santa said, we think that holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. Sometimes it is letting go. Maybe through forgiveness, maybe just through dealing with it and no longer breaking bread with that person on a regular basis, okay? But forgiving him. Santa went on to say 3 things, and I thought these were very profound and very meaningful. Number 1, when you constantly bring up the bad things of the past, you only pollute the future. So think about that in your life. Think that we've all gone through difficult times, maybe some tragedies, certainly a lot of adversity and challenges, and maybe with other people, maybe somebody that you live with. If we continue to bring up the bad things of the past, we will only pollute our future. Number 2, you cannot change your past, only the way you think and feel about it. And number 3, he's taught, no matter how bad the past has been, the future is always spotless. Isn't that a great thought? No matter how bad the past has been, the future is always spotless. Well, as we're winding up here, Santa encourages people to learn, to grow, and to teach others. We understand, perhaps many of us, that when you can teach a principle is when you have really learned that principle. And so Santa encouraged us. He says, listen, I'm going to tell you to go back and teach these principles. Learn. Be a lifelong learner. In fact, Santa teaches others, especially those he cares about the most, that they're valued, that they're important, and what it takes to be successful in any walk of life. Santa gave me this counsel, which I accepted right away since I've been reading a book a week for many, many years. But Santa says, read from good books on a consistent, regular basis. Santa also said, and I was a little surprised with this one, but Santa's challenged me to listen to good, diversified educational material. Go figure! And there Santa is doing it himself. I thought that was unbelievable. In fact, I didn't know. He is so sneaky and comes and goes, right? Have you ever seen him at Christmas? No. So I didn't know that he actually attended. He loves Speaker's Night, Santa told me, okay? And so with that, we need to be lifelong learners, okay? There's always a better way and then a way after that. Learn from those that have gone before us. Learn from their mistakes. Learn from their successes. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And what a great university we live in called life. Now remember, everyone wants to believe in themselves, in their companies, and in you. Whether it's your children, whether it's your trusted colleagues, whether it's your friends or extended family, everyone wants to believe in you. Be that person they can believe in. Santa's challenge to take action is a gift to each of us. So I gave you a little sheet, and I noticed some of you are taking notes, and I appreciate that. But the sheet was prepared so you can write these things down in those slots right there for you. Here are the challenges to take action. See, knowledge is great, and knowledge alone, though, is not power. Acting on the knowledge that we receive is power. So Santa wanted to give me some challenges to share with you in each one of these 6 areas. So here they are. Santa's Take Action Challenge is, for building a wonderful workshop, tell someone that you love, appreciate, and value them, and why. Don't just say the words, tell them why you love them, why you appreciate them, why you value them as a human being. Next, listen to the elves. Listen with your heart, free of judgments and opinions, Santa said. That goes a long, long way. Sometimes listen and never say a word is the best approach to building a strong relationship. Share the milk and cookies. Santa gave this action step. Give of your time. Serve one person with a random act of kindness every day. Try it. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be just a simple thing. It could be leaving a sticky note of kind words on a desk or on a mirror, on the car or whatever. Then Santa's Take Action Challenge, choose your reindeer wisely. He said, spend time with those who will cause you to think up, to look up, and value yourself. Those are the kind of people you want to associate with on a regular basis, isn't it? those that will make you feel good about who you are, feel valued when you're with them, and may say to you things like, I'm not listening to you now until you answer the question I just asked you. My friend here, David, told me that just the other day when we were out to lunch. He's a great mentor and friend, and I was going on, and he stopped me and said, answer the question that I asked you. Okay, anyway, made me feel good and always looking up and thinking positive. The next one is be good for goodness sake. Santa's challenge, choose to do good. Make the right decisions even when it's hard or unpopular. Now that's difficult today, isn't it? But make the right decision, even if you're not in the majority, because truth never changes. Get beyond the little red wagons. So what Santa said, let go. Live for today. Sometimes you win, as I said earlier, and sometimes you learn. Forgive others and forgive yourself. Get beyond the little red wagons. All right, friends, overall here in one slide, Santa's message to all of us was basically this: inspire others, live with joy, choose to be happy, and love more. Now, if you had a chance to sit down with Santa as I did, he's been around a long time. He's got a lot of wisdom. And he told me as we were wrapping up our interview, I want you to share this with people going forward. Yes, Santa and his workshops and the principles that he's learned over years and years of experiences is great. But he challenged me to share this last message with you, and I promised him I would. So here it is. He said, remember the real reason for the season. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. I appreciate it. Have a very Merry Christmas. Have a great, safe time, memorial time with memories with your family. Thank you so much.
All right, and that's why we brought him back, because he kills it. Thank you guys so much for being here. We so appreciate you. We hope that you take something away from tonight, and that you're able to take that added value with you, and spread that power that we get from coming and learning and growing, and doing so together. Next week, our speaker is a gentleman named Justin Heap. He's also spoken for us in the past. He's an attorney, a criminal defense attorney. He's also a historian. And he's going to come and speak specifically on the context surrounding the birth of Jesus Christ. And so it's going to be, if anyone remembers the last time he was here, it's going to be very intellectual, lots of interesting facts, lots of information. But it should be a good time, something enjoyable. Bring the families. We're going to have the very first ever Listen University Gala following. So it'll just be a chance to get together, dress a little bit nicer, and enjoy each other's company. The purpose behind Listen University is helping us to all grow, to get better, to improve ourselves through personal development and education, and to provide us with an opportunity to improve ourselves temporally through the company. And so get with whoever brought you here tonight, find out a little bit more about that. If you're watching on YouTube, reach out to us. We'd love to share a little bit more about what we do with you. Other than that, have a great evening, a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys here next week. Thanks.
Hi, we hope you enjoyed that. That's one of our speakers. We do this every Thursday night, free, on campus at our offices or live here on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed it. We really love bringing you speakers with a passion about a diverse topic. That's what we're all about at Listen University, is helping you in personal development and education in ways that you didn't expect to, and on topics you would never have thought you could have an interest in. Join us here at Listen University. Find out a little bit more about us. There's actually an income opportunity with us as well. Glad to have you here. Thank you. Hi, my name's Kevin Allen, and I'm happy to introduce you to a brand new network marketing opportunity. The name of the company is Listen University, and we bring you personal development and education in a different way than anybody has ever done before. Our target is diverse education. You know, there's a lot of things you can get online free today. There's a lot of TED Talks, there's a lot of trainings, there's a lot of recordings that have been stolen from speakers, frankly, as they spoke to groups that have been downloaded and put up on the internet. There's all kinds of great training out there, but there's some diverse education that you won't get anywhere but here at Listen University. This came into my mind as I recently went back and got my master's degree from Thunderbird School of Global Management, and it changed my life. This is an education that I wasn't expecting. When I went in, I looked for the elective classes. That's what I was looking for, and of course I would have chosen guitar and music classes, some Spanish classes, because these are things I already do. That's what we choose, isn't it, when we go for an education? The things we are interested in and the things we already do. Well, I got to tell you, I'm not sure we learn very much when we take those classes. Classes I would have never signed up for in my master's program are the classes that changed my life the most. And that gave me this idea for diverse education that we take to the world, education pieces that you will never hear anywhere else. My first thought was, imagine if every month you received 10 hours of education and training. Imagine if that first volume that came to you, by the way, our products look like an encyclopedia. You open them up and there's a thumb drive in there with 10 hours of education on it. We also give you a digital download. But imagine if that first lesson was 10 hours of world history for the beginner or the novice or the stay-at-home dad or mom. And imagine if that first lesson was, what's up with Jerusalem and Israel and the Gaza Strip? What's this 200-year war I've heard about? Who knows about that? Who could carry on a conversation about that topic? And who would choose to learn about it? Another interesting question. I would never have enrolled for that class. But now imagine 55 minutes of education taught to you by a real credentialed individual, someone with a couple of doctorate degrees, maybe from Harvard and Yale. Of course, they'd have the last name Patel, probably, because those are brilliant people coming from India today. And imagine for the next 55 minutes, you learn about Israel, Jerusalem, the Gaza Strip. What's up in that part of the country? I promise you, your life would change forever. Just to understand something that other people don't understand. The way you watch the news at night, the way you listen to the news on the radio, the way you talk to friends. It's all going to change. That type of diverse education is what we've targeted in Listen University. Imagine learning something you didn't expect to learn, and imagine how that would change your life. Now, my wife Robin and I have been in network marketing for a long, long time, 35 years. We've been in corporate leadership in most of those companies, and they're mostly all successful still today, and they remain very successful in leading people to that additional income that network marketing is all about, really, and has allowed a lot of people to change their lives. When we started this company, our last company, I just broke into my 60s. I don't want to do this again. So this is our legacy opportunity. When we thought about products, we have access to every product in the world. We know the manufacturers. We could have any product out there, including a bunch of products we hear about as network marketing professionals, corporate people. We hear about products that, in theory, could change your life. And we could pick any of those. But the problem with that is, imagine that you found the great, perfect antioxidant drink and you got on it and you felt better than ever before. Or the perfect skin product, and you used it and your skin was better and younger and fresher than ever before. Or imagine you found the perfect product that would give you the vitamins and nutrition and really gave you comfort to know you were going to live a longer and healthier life. Imagine those things. The problem is, if you stop taking that juice or you stop using that cream, within 2 or 3 weeks, you're back to who you were before you took it. These are just symptoms that products treat, and they can enhance your life, no doubt about it. The difference with education is you can't unlearn something that you learned. You can't forget about it, because our brain is a computer. Now you've expanded who you are, and that will never change. You can say I'm pretty passionate about this, because in this company, Listen University, I believe we will change lives, and I believe they will stay changed. Many people will make a lot of money with us because we're a network marketing company with a great compensation structure that will allow you, by sharing education and personal development, a super product. And by sharing that, you can make a lot of money. Whether you need a few extra $100 to change your life, or you want several thousand extra dollars a month to change your life and leave the life you're living now, Listen University can offer that to you. Plus, it's brand new. I'm recording this on November 2nd, 2018. So take that date, add to it whatever days you're watching this, and just know that our company is in a soft launch situation. We'll open our website for the first time this coming Monday. Are you early? You're way before early. Join us, get involved with us. If you ever thought about being involved in a young company where there's additional trials, no doubt about it, but come and build something with us, with a product that changes lives, with a product that everybody will enjoy as their lives change. Imagine our get-togethers. Imagine when we get together and listen to great speakers and really have that influence and culture that people want to belong to. I know you're going to love Listen University. Take a look at it, listenuniversity.com, and come and join us. I look forward to having you as part of this great company that's going to become one of the companies to watch in the years to come in network marketing. Thanks for joining me.